myself and a few other people that when we started the Fortify program, we thought of it as a 3-month program. But the further we got into this program, it actually came into light that this really isn't a diet. It's something that it's going to be staying with us for the rest of our lives. And what do you think about that? I believe, Judy, you felt the same way, correct?
It really is. And one of the neat things about our group is that we do have a private Facebook page where we actually get to share some of the things that are going on with us, not only physically but emotionally too. So there really is that mind-body connection. We think about food as a friend, as a way to join together every situation we go to, every anniversary and birthday and wedding and funeral, for goodness sakes. It's all around food and what we eat and that camaraderie that comes from the breaking of bread. And so there really is a connection. And a lot of times when we lose our favorite things, there is a sense of loss. And all of us have felt that through this journey in one way or another. And so it is really thinking differently and thinking bigger, actually, because it's not just about the food. Those connections are there even without the food. Recently I went to a birthday party and I got to cut the cake. And it was still a celebration. And, even though I cut the cake, I didn't have the cake. And, people tended to feel bad. Oh, is there something else I can get you? You're missing the cake. It's like, I'm not missing the cake. I still have you. And that's where we want to focus, is on those connections and not on the food itself.
Exactly. And when you say about the mind connection, it is amazing how the gut and the brain are interconnected, and how when you start giving your gut those healthy foods to eat, you're releasing a lot of the baggage that you've had in your mind. It's I know that a lot of us have gone through emotional days where it's like, where did this come from? And it's just amazing how that people that have been on this program, they actually see that and they feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about, the sense of loss, to actually focus on, to visualize what we have to stand to gain. And this isn't a weight loss program. There's a lot more than that, but the weight loss can be a side benefit. And this is from the research that Dr. Tripp did, was that in those clinical studies that the average person lost 26 pounds of body weight, and 17 of those was fat. And most of us have a few pounds to lose. America is one of the heaviest countries in the United States. And so this is going to help a lot of people, this side benefit of this program.
And you mentioned there was 17 pounds of body fat that was eliminated. This is actually a fat loss program. And also it decreases the harmful visceral fat, where most leading diet companies, they have a tendency of losing the water weight, where actually we're seeing people lose fat weight. And that's what you need to do, because when you lose that fat and you start gaining that muscle, your body becomes a fat-burning machine. And it's just amazing how that's happening. I'm watching my fat content decrease and my muscle increase.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. And that visceral fat is what is dangerous, because our fat carries toxins in our bodies, and to have it near our organs, and that's what visceral fat is, that losing that is very, very important.
We've always said slow and steady always wins the race. Don't worry if you don't lose 10 pounds in 1 week. Studies show that if you lose it slowly, if you take it off of your body, you have a tendency of not having it come back. 2 pounds adds up. 2 pounds a week, what is it, in 52 weeks is 26 pounds? So it works the other way too. So people keep gaining the weight if they don't do anything about it. I mean, 2 pounds does add up either way, whether you're losing it or you're gaining it. Right, Judy?
That's true. I heard that if you eat just 100 calories less a week, that at the end of a year you'll lose 10 pounds. And that's just 100 calories. And that's with no supplementation, no exercise, just reducing our caloric intake. So, there are great ways to lose weight. I believe that the Fortify system is one of the best ways because it's not just a weight loss program. It really does help with the balance of our microbiome, with the that gut bacteria that's within us and on us that tends to create havoc into our, not only our digestive system, but into our whole body. So the first thing that we were asked to do was to actually master our food environment. And that does not happen overnight. There's a whole different way of thinking and cooking and preparing and planning. And so these are the 3 things that you need to do: plan, purchase, and prepare. And it is slightly different. I know, Tammy, you changed a lot of things when you started on this program, right?
I did, and I loved rice and couscous, and I couldn't have it anymore because that just wasn't on the program. So it definitely changed my way of thinking. Not to mention, I went through my pantry and I gave a lot of my food to my parents because, and sometimes I even just threw it in the garbage because you know how when you when things are kind of easily accessible because they only live like 3/10 of a mile away from me, it's easy to just go over there. So there's things that I just threw in the garbage.
Yeah. So, so Homer or
Tracy?
Yeah, thanks. Did you? What was the first thing when you went through to this plan, purchase, and prepare? Was there a lot of work involved? Was it a simple process? How did you get through this?
For us, for Diana and I, we just went to see what we could eat, went to the cupboard and pretty much tossed it out or fed what we could to the dogs. Other than that, getting used to eating, well, you think about it, we eat 5 times a day, including our snacks, which is, more than I used to eat before in times, but less than an amount of food that I used to eat. So the preparing was difficult. Getting to because when we first started, it was just like, okay, we'll just go and do this and this and this, but you figure out, well, oh my gosh, it's time for snack. What are we going to do? So you really have to plan and you really have to prepare, and knowing what you have to eat, and you have to take that initial trip to the grocery store and go through and purchase what you can eat, what you like, what out of the the list and start from there. Start at the start. So that's what we did.
That's great. I find out that I'm going to the grocery store a lot more often, but not spending a lot more money, which was great for me.
This slide, tune into your body, Judy. I was a mindless emotional eater. I ate food that made me feel good when I was sad or frustrated or even bored. You definitely need to change your mindset and be cognizant of what you put in your mouth. You want to eat to live, not live to eat. So it's always good to ask yourself, okay, am I eating this because I'm having a bad day? Or am I actually hungry? So
or even bored.
Exactly. So if you're bored, go out and take a walk or go do something. But it's just a whole different mindset that you have to create for yourself.
Right. And, I read something recently that said that when we have hunger pains, the hunger pains will last 20 minutes. So if you are hungry and it's not snack time or food time, which to me it seems like it's all the time. I'm eating way more often than I ever eaten before. But if there's hunger pains, just taking some water, and that relieves the hunger pains, and the 20 minutes has gone by and you don't feel hungry anymore.
That sounds like a great plan to me, Judy. As far as portion control, they actually did a research study where people actually stopped eating when their plates became empty. So what they did is that they designed a bowl of soup to automatically refill itself, and the participants ate 73% more, and when asked if they were full, the most common response was, "How can I be full? I still have a half a bowl left." So it's amazing how they prove that people will just mindlessly keep eating, and you got to be careful.
Yeah. So what I've done at the restaurant is when I order something, because when you go out to eat, and we're still going to go out to eat, whether we are on a meal plan or not, we go out to eat. Meetings with customers, friends, traveling. I know Homer's traveled. A couple other people are traveling right now. We have to go out to eat. And the food that is given to us in the restaurants is way more than we need to have, even when we're special ordering. So what I have done is I ask for a takeout box with my meal. And so before I start eating, I actually go through and say, okay, I want to have a cup of vegetables here. There's 2 cups on my plate, so I'll put a cup in the to-go box. Or with the meat, I want a palm-sized piece of meat. This is a palm and a half, or it's 2 palms. So I'm going to take that out. So my plate is left with what I want to eat on it, so that when I am finished with my plate, I feel like I've cleaned my plate, which my mother always told me to do, and I still do to this day. And I still now I have food to take home with me, and I haven't overeaten.
Judy, that's a great idea, because how many times has anybody, when they got a hamburger, they cut it in half? It's like, well, I'm just going to eat this half. And then you eat the half, and then you continue talking, and then you find yourself that you ate the other half too, and it was just so much food that you were so full.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just get rid of it right from the beginning, you're less apt to eat the whole thing.
Exactly. This slide was really a big help for me when we started the program, because all of the what do I have to do, how much do I need, what's going on, oh my gosh, when do I eat, all those questions were going on in my mind. So having this as a guide on what to eat and when to eat, and I now don't really follow it, but I believe that in order to be able to break a rule, you have to know the rule first. So, you know, there are times I find that I'm hungriest actually in the morning and not so much in the evening. So I now have a breakfast and then what I call a second breakfast, which is my morning snack is my second breakfast. But then, you know, I will then not have a big lunch. I'll have a snack for lunch rather than a lunch. But knowing what is required in the program is so helpful for me.
Exactly, and it's a great snapshot of, you could just hang that on your refrigerator. That way you could be mindful on exactly what you need to eat for the day.
Yeah, and a big challenge for me was being able to eat all the food. And I now eat a lot less than I did at the beginning. I found that it was so much food for me that I felt like my body was always processing food, and I was not only not hungry, I didn't want to eat, and I found myself forcing food into my body. So now that I know what I need, I'm listening to my body. I know that I can take the proportions and reduce the proportions. But the neat thing about this isn't is not calorie restricted. So you can increase the proportions also because you know I'm under 5 feet tall. There's not much body here to fill up, but you know, for the guys that are over 6 feet and they're big boned, you know, they need a lot more food. But as long as we're eating in proportion with the proteins, the vegetables, the greens, and the fats, not so much the fruit and legumes, but with those that are important, as long as we're eating that in proportion, we can eat as much as we want.
Which is almost unheard of with any other diet program.
Yes, yes. So, so Tracy, Homer, Diana, have you found that you go hungry at all?
This is Tracy. I find that I do not go hungry, and I find I'm craving the good foods, and I do not want the sweets. And I'm in an office setting where that's all they give you. It's pizza, donuts, coffee, snacks from the vending machine. That's just there all the time. And it's just amazing that I do not want any of that, and makes me sick to my stomach to smell the donut.
Wow.
It's
That's
just
awesome.
Isn't that a different? And is this, Tracy, if I could ask you, is this a mindset that you ever believed would be possible?
No. I was that emotional eater that when things went bad, I would sit down and not have just a cup of ice cream. I would get the spoon and eat the whole container if it needed to be eaten that day. You know, so it is a total mind shift. You just, I have been in conferences where, and it has been an all-day conference where they have the pastries and the donuts and the fruit in the morning for you to, you know, get your plate before you get in the conference. And after the Purify, and I was like on day 7 of the Purify, I cut into a pastry and it was so awful. And it's like, if this is what Purify does, oh, hallelujah, because it just made me not want the carbs. And then with this program, I still don't want the carbs. I want the veggies. I want the fish, and I want the good things that my body really needs. And then when you see the results coming behind it, it just motivates you just to keep going, because I'm not necessarily looking at my goal weight. I'm looking at what can become the next level. So I'm not looking, oh, I hit my goal weight and I'll stop and I'll, snack this or that. It's not. I just want to see where I can go next. And that's my motivation. It's like, okay, I took on some boxing because I just felt like I needed just to exert more energy. And I can't find anybody that wants to work out with me or walk with me as long as I need to walk. And so I just needed something else to just exert more energy. So that's what I'm finding is happening with me. And I just crave the good stuff now. And I love the saying, eat to live, not a live.
That is great. Thank you, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things that we learned was, one of the first lessons, we have actually weekly coaching calls with people from Nature Sunshine and Synergy. Nature Sunshine has had this program, a similar program to this, for a long time, so they're aware of what's going on and some of the challenges that people have and what we need to do. And so during our weekly calls, one of the first things that we learned was how to read a label. And this is so important. It is, and I just love it, because in my house now, anytime my granddaughter wants a snack, the first thing we do when we go to the cupboard is like, what does the label say, and how much sugar's in it, and how many sugars have you had today? And that will help us make the decision of whether that snack is appropriate for the day or not. So it's not a matter of denying food. It's a matter of just making sure that we're getting the right foods and the right amounts into our body.
Right, and it's also means to make a better choice and what you're going to be purchasing. Take, for example, for yogurt. There's all kinds of yogurts. And some have lots of sugar, some don't have as much of sugar. Take, for instance, Dannon's fruit on the bottom, blueberry. It has 24 grams of sugar, where the plain Greek yogurt from Aldi's has 7 grams of sugar, but the Chobani non-fat plain Greek yogurt has 4 grams of sugar. So 4 versus 24, that's a lot of sugar. And I can't remember how much 1 gram equals how many teaspoons of sugar.
So it's one gram equals 4 teaspoons of sugar.
Oh.
And for a woman, we want 24 grams a day, and for a man, around 28. And if you are eating yogurt, which you think is healthy, and it contains 24 grams of sugar, my goodness, what else are you going to eat during the day? Because there's no way to avoid sugar in foods. It occurs naturally. So I know I track my meals every day, and I look at my sugar content, my fat content, my even my calorie content, just so that I know what is best for my body. And it is very difficult to get less than 24 grams of sugar in our bodies on a daily basis, just with the great foods that I am eating. Sometimes I look back and go, oh my gosh, how did I do that? And it's a great lesson for me to know what I should be avoiding and what I should be eating more of.
Exactly. And yeah, the next screen is the preparation list. This is a great snapshot of what you could use during the program. It breaks it down, and it's very helpful to hang that on your refrigerator, right, Judy?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly where it is. And this is just a snapshot. There are other foods that I eat that are not on this list, but the ones that I'm eating are healthy. I know they're healthy. It's when we talk about prepare, we don't want to go into the frozen food aisle and eat the packaged meals, because that's where you get additional fats and sodiums and sugars in those packaged meals. If you can eat fresh and you know you're eating fresh vegetables and fresh greens, that's what's important here.
Right, and even though the processed foods are so much more convenient, I was reading an article, I think it was yesterday, where Aunt Jemima, they're really getting hit hard because people are starting to make healthier choices, and now we're going to be forcing these food manufacturers to give us better foods because it drives. Believe it or not, we drive what the manufacturers are going to put out there. So if we stop buying those processed foods, they're going to go, wait a minute, we're losing dollars. And they're all about making as much money as they possibly can.
Right, right. And so when you get the recording of this webinar, this is a good thing to post on your refrigerator even before you get your Fortify kit. Because I believe that forewarned is forearmed. And if you kind of have a guide and start slowly going into the process, it tends to be a lot easier than having to sink and swim and feeling that, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into, kind of thing. So, take a picture of the screen if you'd like to have for your refrigerator door in your shopping list.
And Judy, this is Homer again. One thing too that I've found in a good reason to check your labels, and I check the ingredients for sure. On your sauces, it says here you can have soy sauce, but you really got to watch because a lot of the soy sauces have wheat in them, and you got to really be careful with what you get. And I also noticed the ones that are gluten-free have a lot of sugar in it. So you got to give to get. You got to figure out, it's a process. It's not a perfect process, but you really got to just figure out what's best for you and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're right, Homer. Those prepared foods can be challenging, and and we're all getting more creative in the kitchen. And I know I ordered a salad for dinner the other night. It was late. I hadn't prepared anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a salad, and it took me 10 minutes to order it at a restaurant, a chain restaurant. It took me 10 minutes to order it, and over the phone. And I ended up getting it without dressing because they didn't have any dressing. And I came home and I put some vinegar and oil together, and I grow my own herbs, so I just took my own herbs and mixed them together, and it was absolutely scrumptious. And they did a great job on this salad by cooking me special chicken and stuff. So it does take a little bit of thought, but it is so worth it.
Yeah, and one more thing about that, before when I thought I was eating healthy, I'd get eat a salad, but I'd have like ranch all over, so I'd have more ranch than greens. But now what I do is we don't even get any dressing at all, and we just order a bowl of lemons or side of lemons, and we use squeeze the lemon over the salad, and just add a little bit of salt and pepper to that, and it's delicious. And I prefer that over anything anymore. I mean, I almost crave that now. So
What a great idea.
it's really good.
And another thing that I used to do too is I dip my fork in the a side of dressing, and then I'll then eat my lettuce with that, and so you get a very little dressing on your fork.
Yeah, and two, what I do is I find that to be a conversation starter. You know, because the waitress will be eating out. You'll ask for a side of lemon, and they'll ask you well, what dressing would you like? Well, no dressing. And then they'll look at you like weird, and you can tell them well, we're on this special program where we got to watch what we eat, and then that that gets into their curiosity, and you just start a conversation right there. So.
Yeah, great marketing technique, absolutely. So there are some things, and I so appreciate Homer and Tracy. I wish you were going to be on a recording with us to help give some ideas and helpful hints of what we do. We just thought we would talk a little bit about some of those hints to get through the 12 weeks. It says it takes 21 days to create a habit. I believe that is true unless you don't do something for 21 days in a row, that on day 18 you fall back and revert something. Then I believe that you have to start at day 1 again and go to 21 days. And so for me to create a habit will take 3 or 4, 5, sometimes 6 months, because I keep messing up throughout the process. So it's great to have ideas and help along the way. So we wanted to just talk a couple of things about what we've found successful through this process.
Exactly. And I have my Fitbit, but I can't seem to find it. I know that I believe Diana has a Fitbit, and I'm sure Homer does too, but it really does record your steps on what you've done for the day. So a Fitbit is really, really good.
And Tracy, Tammy, I actually found one it's not a Fitbit, but it counts steps, and my text messages come up on it. It's really cool. And it was $24. So you don't have to spend a lot of money and get the best. Like the scale that is available through Nature Sunshine's coaches is also available on Amazon, and there's different models that do the same or similar things. So it's not about spending money to absolutely have exactly what everyone else has, but being able to use something similar, and we'd be happy to share what we found and some of the devices that we're using to anybody on the webinar.
Judy.
Yes.
Your Fitbit, where did you find it, and what brand is it?
It's actually, I found it. It was in 2 places, one on Groupon and one on Amazon. And what the name of it is, I will have to look it up because it doesn't actually say on the device because it's totally black. So I will look it up and
with that, okay? Because that's the one thing I don't have. So I just go crazy working out, and I have no idea how much I'm
and this will give your heart rate and your oxygen levels also.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
When this is Homer again. When Diana got the Fitbits, I was kind of upset because they are a little pricey. They really are. But I'm like, well, I guess I need a watch because I was just going to use it for the watch. But once you get it and you get into it, I mean, it syncs up to your phone, and then it does a whole number of things. And what happens too is, I just figured this out just the other day. We were somewhere where we had to have our phones off, maybe in a meeting or something, and my Fitbit started wiggling, and I looked down, and it's telling me I have a phone call. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was even a feature on there. But I mean, you know, a Fitbit. I mean, you know, it's a tool, and
Exactly.
and you know, the way I've always been taught is you go to, you know, not the cheapest, but whatever works, you know, is good enough, and not everybody has to have the best. And the scale, Diana bought the scale that was at the, the Inform scale that everybody stepped on at Nature Sunshine. Well, ours broke. I mean, it's in error mode now, and I called the company, and they said, well, you know, we can send you another one, but you got to pay the, you know, the shipping and handling, blah blah blah. So expensive things aren't always best. So.
Yeah, right, right. And one of the things, you know, Tracy, you mentioned you have no one to walk with that wants to walk, you know, at the speed and intensity that you're walking. But it is a good idea to find a partner. And this is going to help also as we're selling, to let people know that they should find a partner to work with, because the support group that we have on Facebook, I believe, has helped a lot of us as far as being able to hear what people are going through and be able to be thankful because we're not. So both ends of the spectrum. So having some type of partnership, whether it's online or face-to-face, is so, so important through this process.
It is. It is. I do know and appreciate all of the support that we get in our group. And it's really nice that Homer and Diane are over here just across the street, because a lot of times when I don't know what to eat, I'm like, what do you guys have today? You know, give me an idea. Sometimes my brain, after I get out of the work office and, you know, I can't think of, and I don't want to fall in old habits because they're easy and on the way home to pick up. And it's easy to go into the grocery store, hit that outside aisle, and get the veggies. So that's what I find as a support. And, you know, just like they were talking about how we were sitting down eating, I had been working out, and I says, I want to go have some healthy food, come and join me. So we sat around the table having our food and, you know, talking about how we have changed eating patterns and eating processes and the foods that we're eating, and reading labels. And it really helps to have the like mind around the table, so you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, that you're right. That is so important. And to be able to, one of the things that a lot of people do is they pre-measure or even make up their salads for the week, so that there is not a lot of last minute thinking. You know, for me, it is last minute because I'm like you, Tracy, and most of the other people on the call here. You know, we're really busy, and my days, every day is a different day. I don't have a schedule, so and I don't plan well, so pre-measuring your stuff can be extremely helpful, so that you don't have to think about it at the last minute.
Especially pre-measuring your veggies. Like I just get a head of cauliflower, and I just break it up, and then I just put them into the baggies, like the servings that I need. So when I'm going to cook my salmon, I just have to pull the carrots and the cauliflower out and just dump it in the pan, and I don't have to think about it. So I mean, it's anything that makes your life easier, I'm all for.
Yeah.
And you had also mentioned about working with partners as far as like for any type of exercising. I mean, you could do a lot of walking. Walking is really good, but there's also other ways that you can exercise and get that cardio up. I mean, you could do elliptical, spin bikes. I actually got a spin bike, and I'll tell you what, that spin, when you're done spinning, you're totally exhausted. So it just whatever you feel is best for you. Even try different things. I'm not a runner though, so you'll never see me running because I'm the slowest one. So I'd much rather go bicycling. So, but yeah.
Or you can go dancing.
Exactly. That burns a lot of calories. I mean, look at the people at the Dancing with the Stars. Look how much how much weight they've lost just by dancing.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, any other hints that anyone has, even if you're not on the Fortify program, if you are, focused on health and have had success with something, any other hints that anyone would like to share?
For us, this is Homer again. Sorry. For us, we really try to take it like a cooler, especially of water and snacks everywhere we go. We just put them in the car, and we always have them there and ready. Because like you, Judy, we don't have a clue where we're going to be. We'll get a call, and you got to go over here. Okay, so we're off, or we're running over here, or somebody's. We're always putting fires out somewhere, so we're always on the run, and that's what we try to do. We try to keep a cooler of water and snacks, and that way we're not missing.
Yeah, great idea. And it's okay to fail also. I think we have to, take that in consideration, that if we fail, it really isn't failure for the future, it's failure for the moment. And we can, change that failure into a learning lesson. Last night I had an epic failure. I'm taking a trip, and I decided to dry a lot of vegetables for the trip rather than, I don't like soggy vegetables. So I was making some beets, and I followed a recipe that said, oh, this is the best way to dry these beets. And I did it, and they taste so bad. They are so full of salt that I can't even eat them. So now I've learned that I'm going to, do it a different way, and that's okay. I'm still going to have my vegetables. I'm just going to not follow that recipe and create my own.
And I got to reiterate on something you said, Judy. We are all human, and don't take it as a failure. Take it as a learning experience. I mean, I was so in the beginning of this Fortify, I was so down on on ourselves because we missed lunch or we missed a snack, and they're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? The world doesn't come apart. Everything's gonna be okay. You just gotta draw that line and move forward. I mean, that's what it's about. It's a process. It's not. But I think Tammy said it best. It's not the end all. The earth is not going to stop just because you missed a snack. So I think everything's all good.
Right, and I must admit, on the 4th of July, I had a couple things that I probably shouldn't have, and I gained like a pound. And the very next day, it's like, all right, I was so ready to get back on the program. In 2 days, I had lost that and lost even more. So how many times have people cheated and then they went, oh my gosh, all is lost. and they just continue cheating, and they continue gaining weight. But it's okay to have something that you shouldn't have on the program. Just pick yourself up and then just continue with the program, and you will lose that weight. And that's
absolutely. And if you can have in your mind that every day is a new beginning and a new opportunity to do better than the day before. And if we just keep that in the forefront of our minds, it will help us move forward to success rather than think about our failures. And when we're focused on success and we live success, we will have success.
And the nice thing about just getting back on the program, I'm actually down more than I've have been in well over 2 years. So I wasn't about to just give in. So it's okay. We're all human. We're living life, and things will come up. And if you do it, then just get right back on it. Don't beat yourself up. And always, and the best thing to do is to build everybody up. You know, like if somebody has a bad day and they have an epic failure in their eating habits, just like, it's okay. Just get on the bandwagon and just give them the support, because that support goes a long way, doesn't it, Judy?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is the end of our time together today. Is there any questions or comments that anyone has before we say goodbye?
No question, Judy, but well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
So thank you, everybody, for attending today, and we will get out a recording of this shortly. Right, Tammy?
Absolutely.